Okay, so now we're back in the range on Bitcoin, but we're sneaking into the top part of the range as we get into this increased momentum. And what you can see is that this increased momentum is actually now spilt over into the altcoins, and you're getting a very, very, very green day on the altcoins. And if you go into the week, well, the week's looking very, very, very juicy on the altcoins. If this tweet over here is correct, and I tend to think that this tweet actually may be correct, you have about 63 days to fix your portfolio before the very parabolic stage in the bull market, this stage in the bull market. Now remember, when you get to this stage of the bull market, you've got no time to make decisions. By the time you get here, you need to make sure that your portfolio is in exactly the right position that you want it to make you the most amount of money in this bull market. Because the problem is that if you miss it, then the problem is you'll have to wait until the next bull market to make life-changing money. So up until now, we've been moving sideways. You've had all the time in the world. And when you have all the time in the world, sometimes you get a little bit complacent. But now it's crunch time because you don't have time anymore. Very soon, we're going to get to this part of the bull market. And when we do, you're going to have no time to make decisions. You cannot be chopping and changing and moving your portfolio around at this part over here because you're going to have missed all the opportunities. So today, I'm going to show you a list of tokens that you should have in your portfolio. And then I'm also going to show you a list of tokens that you should get out of your portfolio. In fact, the list of tokens that you should get out of your portfolio is probably much more important than the list of tokens that you should have in your portfolio. Now listen, I know that when I give you this list, there's going to be a lot of haters, but we have to speak the truth. And we have to make sure that we have the right tokens in our portfolio because I don't care about what the haters think. I just want to make sure that my portfolio performs the best when we get this parabolic part of the bull market in exactly 62.5 days. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If it doesn't interest you, I suggest you don't watch the show. If it does, stay tuned until the end because there's a big show coming up. Let's go, guys. We always talk about the tokens that you should have in your portfolio. Today, we're going to talk about the tokens that you should have out of your portfolio. Time to drop all the emotions. You know, like the problem with tokens is that they're like bad relationships because you get attached to them and then you can't let them go, right? But if you could let them go and you could go to the next relationship, that next relationship is so beautiful with so many amazing returns. But some people choose to hang on to the last relationship. So today, it's not actually about crypto as much as it is about psychology, about the ability to let your exes go, right? Today, it's about a psychology session. Follow me for more relationship advice. We're going to be talking about how to let your ex tokens go, how to wish them goodbye and make sure that you've replaced them with the right tokens in your portfolio. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to this channel, specifically if you want more relationship advice. Subscribe to the channel, join the 959,000. Who unsubscribed? Who the hell unsubscribed? Well, join the 959,921 people that actually are subscribed to the channel. If you are here, what I need you to do is I need you to smash a like button. I'll tell you why I want you to smash a like button, because Sheldon says that the reason why his views are low was because not enough people liked his content. So what I need you guys to do, I need you to smash the like button to prove that the more people like the content, the more views we actually get on the show. We're going to prove to Sheldon that that's exactly how it works here. All right, let's get the show on the road. Let's talk about where we are. We're in a period of increased momentum. That's all I can say. The momentum is in the right direction. And you know that markets are actually very much about momentum. They're not about movements, but they are about the momentum of the movement, the acceleration of the movement. Now, I always say the most dangerous effect in business is momentum. If you are competing against a competitor and that competitor has momentum, you want to it's very hard to compete them because it's very, very, very hard to compete with momentum, right? And now this market is starting to gain momentum going forward. We broke up from the bottom of this range, which exactly touched this trend line. And we broke straight back into the range. And now we are very, very, very quickly climbing up the range because there has been a change in the momentum. And that momentum has also gone into the altcoins, right? So if you look at where our altcoins are, just have a look at where these altcoins are. You've got Injective up another 11.78% today, 25.97. You got Arweave, which we spoke about yesterday, and we said yesterday, get in. $31.68, and the momentum continues like crazy. ICP, which is another one that we called yesterday, in front runners, $10. So we are starting to get the momentum going into the altcoin market. not only the Bitcoin market. And it does look like if we can get into the second part of this range, we will actually break through. Another reason why I say that the momentum has changed is because if you look at like what was keeping the Bitcoin price down, I mean, we all know that what was keeping the Bitcoin price in this range for so long, for so many days, was actually the German government and the cloud of that German government selling. And remember that they only had $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now you have Mt. Gox, who are actually in the midst of distributing. They've still got another $6 billion of Bitcoin, and the market doesn't actually give a shit. The market's basically saying, look, we don't really care about these coins. We're going up. That shows you that the momentum is changing. I tweeted yesterday and I said, Mt. Gox distributing Bitcoin and Mt. Gox distributing and Bitcoin going up. Everything has changed. The momentum has changed. The movement has changed. For those of you who don't know what momentum is, it's like really movement times weight. And I kept saying that we were in the boring zone, but very soon we will actually break out of the boring zone. And when we break out of that boring zone, that is when we actually go parabolic. It's when we move from the boring zone to what they call the banana zone, or what Rawlpole called the banana zone. It looks like we are at the very, very, very end of that boring zone. So you can see it here. You can probably see it in Rect Capital's tweet where he says, look, we're about 91 days out of about 150 days of the boring zone. And very soon we will actually break out of this. Now, what you can see when you break out of that boring zone is that when you get to this part of the cycle, there's no time to make any decisions. What it means is that you have to make sure that you make all your decisions here. You have to make sure that you set your portfolio, that you set your portfolio over here. Because here, what happens is tokens start popping. And when tokens start popping, it's very hard to move into them because you're kind of like, shit, how am I going to get in if this token's just popped 20%? I wanted to buy this token. It went up 20%. That's a problem, right? It means that you've got to make your decisions and you've got to prepare your portfolio here whilst there's not much movement and whilst you can still switch from token to token without losing too much on the one side or gaining too much on the other side, right? You understand that. So today is about positioning our portfolios correctly for the next part of the move. Yesterday, we gave you a list of all the things that you needed to buy. We spoke about Stacks, we spoke about ETH, we spoke about Solana, Sui, 𝗬𝗓𝗏, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, Mantra, Axelar, Rune, Beam, and so far these look like they are amazing, amazing, amazing choices. Today, we're also going to talk about the tokens that you should get out of your portfolio. So it's not only about the tokens you should get into your portfolio. So that is what we're going to be talking about mainly today. I do see that part of this increased momentum, or I think part of the cause of this increased momentum, which, as I've said, momentum is the most powerful force that you could ever get, is the fact that for once we are seeing the world superpower finally get united. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about the fact that this superpower that we have is finally starting to unite. And to me, they're starting to unite in what I believe is the right direction. Regardless of your political inclinations, what you got to believe is you got to believe that this shooting incident that happened, this attempted assassination that happened on Donald Trump, you've got to be convinced that there's a higher power at work here. Number one, not only because the bullet missed his head, and I know you must have seen those things on Twitter. Just send me one of those Twitter posts where you saw the bullet and turning his head. You must believe that it was a miracle that made Trump turn his head like 1 centimeter that way and then got the bullet to miss his ear. But then you've also got to believe that there's a reason why this happened one day before the Republican National Congress, right? Like you got to think to yourself that the timing of this couldn't have been any better. How does an assassination attempt happen? I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. This is from Josh. Josh just sent it to us. He's a crypto legend, apparently. I mean, just look at that. 1 bullet, 2 bullets, 3 bullets. Now, if he hadn't turned his head, you know for sure that right now Trump would be dead. And if he wasn't dead, something would be wrong with him. He would have some kind of brain damage or whatever else. So that's the first part of what you've got to call fate. But the other part is, how did this happen just one day before the Republican National Congress? And the reason why I say that is because it almost feels like the most uniting act that I've seen in a long time. The act or the happening that has made the US more united than I've ever seen them happened one day before the Republican National Congress. And now what you're getting is you're getting a lot of people who are not typically Trump supporters coming out and saying that they're supporting Trump. One of them is the founder of 𝗕𝗓𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. He says he's been a Democrat for most of his life, but he will support Trump in 2024 election campaign. Now get this. Trump's crypto regulation plan is a flat-out blanket endorsement of the entire space. Biden's administration stifles startups through excessive regulation and potentially unnecessary taxation. Two things to read here. One is that the biggest names in industry, the biggest names that are good for markets, stock markets and liquidity, etc., are now all coming out and backing Trump. That's the first thing you need to notice here. The second thing that you need to notice here is that the biggest thing that people are talking about here is crypto. 𝗥𝗜𝗚𝗏, who is a venture capitalist and has a lot of other things on his plate other than crypto. He does AI. It's 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. So they're the biggest investment house or one of the biggest VCs in the world, right? And he's talking about endorsing Trump because of crypto. If you look at David Sacks's tweet where he says, and by the way, Elon retweeted this. Let me see if we've got the Elon retweet. We don't, okay? So he says, look, Bill Horowitz, Bill Ackman, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓𝗏, Doug Leone, Elon Musk, etc., etc. And he goes down this whole list and he says, they're all here and they're all in the Trump camp. And he's basically saying, it's warm here, come in. But now let's quickly look at this list properly. Andreessen Horowitz, Ben Horowitz, Bill Ackman, very much a Bitcoin and crypto guy. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓𝗏, very much a crypto and Winklevoss guy. Have no idea who Doug Leone is. Elon Musk, crypto guy. Kyle Samani, crypto guy. Mark Andreessen, crypto guy. Peter Thiel, one of the early guys into Bitcoin. Tushar Jain, crypto guy. Tyler Winklevoss, crypto guy. There's a lot happening around crypto. And so you've got to say to yourself, there's got to be something going on here where you get this increased momentum. And to me, as an outsider, I tweeted something earlier today where I said, it actually feels now that for the first time in a long time, the US is actually united. And I said, I actually feel here's the tweet. I said, the US is actually finally uniting and maybe actually America can be great again. And that's what markets are actually celebrating now. They're celebrating the fact that the world superpower is starting to get, or the Americans are starting to get united behind the Republicans, the Red Party, which are good for markets. And as a result of that, what you're seeing is you're seeing all markets go parabolic. You're seeing the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, go parabolic to celebrate. You're seeing gold. Look at that. Gold is an all-time high, almost $2,500, which is amazing. The only one that's not an all-time high is Bitcoin. And you can see, yes, we are back at the range, but I think it would be a miss of us not to think that there's going to be a massive, massive, massive catch-up trade. And that eventually Bitcoin actually has to perform better than the NASDAQ because Bitcoin is all about the risk trade. And if the NASDAQ is below Bitcoin in the risk trade, then there should be a massive catch-up and Bitcoin should overtake the NASDAQ in terms of return, which it hasn't done already. So as you can see, markets are absolutely celebrating this. Another thing which happened yesterday at the Republican conference is that Trump said, he said, number one, he said, Jerome Powell, he kind of warned Jerome Powell and he said, he's warned Jerome Powell not to reduce interest rates before the election. And the reason why he said that is he said he doesn't want Biden to look good. He doesn't want Jerome Powell to make Biden look good, which is kind of interesting because you have the Fed or the probabilities now that there may be one rate cut, two rate cuts, and maybe even three rate cuts this year. And Trump's basically telling Powell, don't cut rates until here. Don't cut rates until here. Now, I don't think that Powell's going to listen to Jerome Powell, to Trump. I also think that, if you listen to what Trump said, he said, see if I've got the article for you guys. He said he doesn't want to get Jerome Powell out, but he would also maul Jamie Dimon for US Treasury. Can you imagine Jamie Dimon for Treasury? It would be a great honor for Jamie Dimon, but it would be a big kick in the face for crypto people. Then there was this, and I don't know what this alludes to. Someone says, as a reminder, Doug Leone of Sequoia Capital publicly voiced his support for Trump 6 weeks ago. So he's from Sequoia. Sequoia is very big and very crypto friendly. Thank you to our researcher, Paulo. You're a legend. Our researchers are legends. The other thing which is very, very, very bullish for crypto people, wait. First of all, you got to see some of the scenes that happened at the Republican conference yesterday. This is one of my favorites.
As a citizen, as a husband, and as a father, I am alarmed that the current president of the United States lacks the capability to discharge the duties of his office. Our enemies do not confine their designs to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
Okay, you got to admit, that's really funny. Okay, so for those of you who've seen Weekend at Bernie's, I mean, really, really, really funny. The other thing is, as Alex Becker says, Trump's VP pick isn't just a pro-crypto guy. He's a top holder of many coins and NFT projects. He's a degenerate guy like us. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, Alex Becker did say it. I also picked this up. Now, I don't know. I hate 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥. But this guy seems to hate 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥 a whole lot more. Just listen to this. I mean, this is like...
Senator Vance from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to you and the ranking member for having this hearing, and thanks to Chairman Gensler for being here. I want to just ask a few questions about personnel at the SEC, Mr. Gensler. So let's just start out with the very top, with you. In 2016, you were the CFO of Hillary Clinton's failed presidential campaign. Is that correct?
I was proud to be chief financial officer to the
So he's aligned with the
Clinton
Clintons.
campaign.
Great. Chairman Gensler, is it also correct that your current enforcement director, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗢𝗚, was most recently the Attorney General of New Jersey? A yes or no answer will suffice.
He served his nation well, and he was Attorney General of New Jersey.
So just to recap, the Attorney General of New Jersey is the guy who refused to enforce immigration laws and cooperate with ICE. He also launched, I believe, 8 separate investigations against Donald Trump during his time as Attorney General. Chairman Gensler, is it also correct that your recently hired General Counsel, Megan Barbero, was previously Deputy General Counsel under Nancy Pelosi and litigated 2 impeachment hearings against Donald Trump?
I believe she was Deputy General Counsel of the House of Representatives.
Great. So, and I'll also note that one of your senior enforcement counsels is married to Peter Strzok. My point here, Mr. Gensler, is that you seem to have a very troubling pattern of hiring at an impartial regulatory agency a lot of people who seem to have a vendetta against the former president. And I fear and I worry that that has implicated itself and affected the policy at the SEC. Chairman Gensler.
So you see, this guy's like, he's going to take no shit from Gary Gensler. In fact, we kind of know that for sure that Gary Gensler is probably going to be out. So as I said, I think that the market's getting momentum, and the market's getting momentum because the world's biggest superpower is now united. And there's nothing more powerful than when a superpower gets united and they stop with their bullshit and they stop with their arguing and they actually just get the job done. Now, it looks like if Trump carries on like this, they win the House and they win the Senate. And if they win both, then they can really make quick decisions and actually get the economy back on the road. And that's what the market's celebrating. That's why we're getting the NASDAQ up. That's why we're getting gold up. That's why we're getting the QQQ up. And Bitcoin hasn't yet started. But what we know for sure is that if Bitcoin is acting like a TradFi asset, or if it has a catch up to the TradFi asset, TradFi are getting in like crazy. So you can see here, well, Larry Fink was maybe right. Perhaps Bitcoin is digital gold. It's following the same fractal. You've got the mainstream banks and the crypto adopting, like really adopting crypto. You can see an adoption chart over here. And you can see that the spot ETF cumulative inflows have now reached their highest levels ever. So it does look like we are quickly getting to the next phase. We are very quickly getting into this phase over here. Let me get it. This phase over here, where when we're gonna start moving across that box very quickly, and then maybe break out of what was called the boring range and break much more into the banana zone. But that means that you don't really have much time to do it. And we need to talk about that, because what I saw today on my timeline, which is quite disappointing, but also quite expected. I saw a lot of these kind of tweets on my timeline. And this tweet said, please, I sold 4 months range breakdown at 53K. Please give me one dip, one last chance to 59, then moon. So everyone's basically saying, like, I missed the dip. I need one last chance to go to the moon. Now I'm sitting here and I'm going, look guys, I begged you. I told you guys it was the best time to buy. I warned you guys not to lose interest. I told you to start putting your money into it. And then I see tweets like this, and I really hope that 𝗥𝗬𝗚𝗧 is not in our chat here, because if he is, I'll be very disappointed that I gave you guys the test. I told you guys that the markets were going to recover, and still we're getting tweets like this. I kept saying to you guys, in a bull market, and unless your thesis was that the bull market ended, I told you my thesis was never that the bull market ended. In a bull market, dips are for buying. Sideways action is shaking people out. It's the time for actually buying. What we don't do is we don't wait for the price to go up and then tweet things like this, which says, I just need one more chance to actually buy the dip. Especially when we see something like this happen. And I tweeted about this the other day. We are seeing a fundamental shift in the US stock market. The Russell 2000, which is the small cap indicator on the stock market, has gone absolutely parabolic since this whole Trump thing. Because Trump is good for small caps. Trump is good for liquidity. And so in the last 4 days, the Russell is up 10%. That is a clear signal to you that the same thing is going to happen in crypto. And when I say the same thing is going to happen in crypto, it's going to happen to altcoins. Up until now, you can say that Bitcoin was like the NASDAQ. It was the big daddy. It was the only one moving. Now you've got Bitcoin. Now you've got the Russell moving. And it's only logical that the small caps or the altcoins will actually start running. Just listen to what Tommy Lee said.
I think the rally that started last week for small caps is going to be larger than the October to December rally of last year. That was over 8 weeks, almost a 30% gain for the Russell 2000. This time we have a larger short position by institutions. We have small caps even more oversold, and valuations, whether you look at median PE, which is now at 10 times 2025 earnings, even lower. So we think that this move could be something like 10 weeks and as much as 40%. So I think it is just starting, and a lot.
So listen to what he said, and it's uncanny because the timing is exactly what he said. He said 10 weeks. You have 10 weeks, which is going to be a crazy move in the altcoin market. 10 weeks is about 70 days. You're going to get 70 days of a move in the Russell market. And he kind of says,
a lot of it has to do with the fact that, the June CPI was so astonishing.
Okay, so he said it's going to be a very, very, very aggressive move. Now, I think the same thing is going to happen on altcoins. I think that what we saw now is we saw Bitcoin moving, but we didn't see the altcoins moving. I think what we're seeing now, though, and we're starting to get the first signs of it, is we're starting to see the altcoins moving like crazy, moving like absolute crazy. You're getting moves in all the narratives that we spoke about, plus some others, and here is where I think the opportunity may actually be. So let's talk about the ones that we actually spoke about. 𝗬𝗦𝗡, amazing, look at this, 31.92. Look at how much it's up this week, 50% in this week. We begged you guys to buy it. Look at 𝗕𝗤. 𝗕𝗤's also up like 50% this week, or 20% this week. We know why 𝗕𝗤 is up. I'll show you why 𝗕𝗤 is up. Here it is. Here's the reason for it. A lot of people couldn't understand why it's up. The Grayscale is launching an AI fund, which has NEAR, Render, Filecoin, LPT. What's LPT? And 𝗕𝗤. Let's see what's LPT. Never heard of LPT. Oh, is it LivePeer? Yeah, it's LivePeer. Okay, LivePeer, and it is LivePeer. Well done, Josh. Crypto legends indeed. So you've got they've got LivePeer and they've got 𝗕𝗤, which is amazing. That's like a crypto AI fund, which will eventually be turned into an ETF, because all the Grayscale funds are eventually going to get turned into an ETF. So now you have. So you had an amazing opportunity to buy. You didn't buy. Now you have your last chance to buy and the last chance to fix your portfolio. You cannot come back. You got like a once in a lifetime opportunity, because I don't think you're getting another bull market like this one. This is going to be, in my mind, the last crazy bull market before the regulation comes in. When the regulation comes in, you can basically say bye-bye to the crazy returns. The only reason why we get crazy returns here is because there's no regulation to slow us down here. We can do whatever we want. There's perpetuals exchanges, there's whatever else. There's the ability to launch meme coins as quickly as you want without regulation and legislation. That's not going to be in the next bull market, which means that you have one last chance in this bull market to make sure that you have the right tokens in your portfolio. And that's really the main part of what I want to talk about today, making sure you have the right tokens in your portfolio. And yesterday, we did something amazing. We said, look, This cycle is going to be like all the other cycles. It's going to go Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then large cap alts, then small cap alts. And I told you guys that I think the smartest strategy in this market is to just keep it simple. So just keep thinking, think of the, the KISS principle, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So just keep it simple, stupid. And I said yesterday, go and look at stacks. Go and look at ETH. Go and look at Solana. Look at Sui. Look at Arweave. Look at Near. Look at Mantra. Look at Axelar. Look at Rune. And if you look at the bubbles today, just look at the ones that are actually moving. Look at the big ones that are actually moving, except these ones, which we'll talk about in a second. It's kind of like, let's go to the last week. And you can see that the ones that are actually moving, ICP, which you spoke about, Near, OM, you need to keep it simple in terms of what you're buying. You can buy all the good tokens that we've spoken about on all the previous shows that we spoke about today. But that's not what the whole thing is about. Because when you have one chance to make money, you want to make sure that you maximize your gains. The problem is that if you don't maximize your gains, here's what's going to happen. You're going to ride it all the way up. You're going to go down. You're going to have a nice short bull market. And then you're going to have to wait all this time until the next bull market to actually make money again. I don't want to do that. I told you, I'm going to stop streaming at the end of this bull market. Okay, I won't stop, but I want to be in a position where I don't have to stream after this bull market, which means that I've got to get my portfolio into the right tokens today. Every single show that we talk about, we tell you about the right tokens to get into. We gave you a list yesterday, which I think is an amazing list. I'm happy to take questions and see if maybe we should add more tokens or do something like that, right? But I like what 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗦 says here. He says, I said, don't invest in everything. Just invest in the majors. That's where you're going to make your life-changing returns. Listen.
Crypto as an asset class, there are probably fewer than 50 long-term investable assets. And I mean like investable, like buy this thing and hold it for 10 years. Because investable, at least for me, with how I was trained, is it has fundamentals that are going to drive the flows consistently within the market structure such that it appreciates over time, if all else things being equal.
Okay, so does your token have fundamentals that will appreciate over time, that will facilitate the market structure, as he said? And I believe that most of these do. Maybe not the meme coins, but we know memes are the gambles in our portfolio. And I do believe that that's how you should be positioning your portfolios. I think you should be investing not in risk, but you should be investing in proven business models in crypto that process a ton of transactions and fees, big TVL, etc. That's what we need. And then take one or two small bets, because everything else is like really just an absolute waste of time. So that is how I'd position my portfolio today. But then what I would also do is I would remove a whole lot of tokens out of my portfolio. I'd make sure that I use opportunities in the market to remove tokens that I'm holding in my portfolio that shouldn't be in my portfolio. And it's time for us to be flat out, completely unemotional about the tokens in our portfolio. And when you see days like this, and when you open your portfolios, and you see that XRP is up 40% in a week, and then you say to yourself, do I really believe the XRP story long term? Okay, now if you do, then maybe you're watching the wrong channel, or maybe you haven't been listening enough, because I don't believe the XRP thesis. I don't believe in the XRP thesis long term, and I believe that what you should be doing when they have a spike like this is you should be getting out of your XRP position. Because what we know XRP does is it goes up and it has these 50% spikes every now and then. Someone says, is this really that weird? Someone says, there's something going on with XRP that we don't know. This shit just randomly started booming after a liquidation event. What the hell's going on? 40% in 7 days, no news. And someone says, is this really that weird? It does this all the time, right? My feeling is it's time to switch your portfolio from the bad tokens to the good tokens. If your token chart doesn't look like this, and you are holding an old token, if you have not had, like I understand a lot of us are holding old tokens, and old tokens can be the best tokens, right? And you go, you had the big spike and you went down and accumulated, and if you hasn't done this kind of pattern, chances are you probably should be dumping it. Now, let's look at this chart and let's look at the XRP chart. Here, that's that chart. Does that chart look the same? Absolutely not. This one doesn't have the big breakout. For me, when you get an opportunity to dump a token that is one of your old bags, you take the opportunity and you actually dump the token. And there are a whole lot of tokens that, to be honest, right now, I think are holding a lot of you back emotionally. You are like abused spouses in a relationship. You keep getting slapped around by this token and you keep holding on for dear life. You have to get out of the relationship. Cut the relationship. Move on. There is a better boyfriend and a better girlfriend out there, but you got to move on in order to experience the beauty of the new person. You can't keep holding on to the old bags and then think that things are going to change. You got to get out. You got to cut the emotion, cut the umbilical cord, cut it, get the hell out. Now, if you're holding any token that doesn't have a chart that looks like this and is an old token, my suggestion to you is to get out of that token. I've made a list. Now, look, I know this list is not going to make me popular, but this is not a popularity contest. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to give you guys the right advice, the right trading advice, the right fundamental advice for the bull market. And part of the advice is maybe going to make me unpopular within certain communities. It's going to make me unpopular within certain communities, but I've chosen to, despite the implication and the hate that a lot of communities are going to give me, I've made a resolution to tell you the truth about certain tokens. This list is by no means exhaustive, but the truth is, like, if you're holding a token like Litecoin, I think it's time to get out of Litecoin. I honestly don't see any reason in the world to hold Litecoin. Okay, it's not silver to Bitcoin's gold. It really isn't. There's been no technological innovation for about 400 years. The chart looks exactly like the XRP chart. If you're holding Litecoin, get out. Okay, get out. Like, if you're holding Litecoin, there's no reason to hold it. You want to hold a proof of work coin that is maybe doing something amazing. If you really want to hold a proof of work coin, go to Lithium. Okay, that's the one that I'd be holding, because this is maybe the next Casper. Like, I would potentially, if you really want to hold a proof of work coin, go get into Lithium, go get into Casper. But do me a favor, get out of Litecoin. Let me give you another one that I'd really get out of. Algorand, okay? Algorand has done nothing since the beginning. Just promises and academic papers and smart contracts and whatever else. Okay, let's look at the chart. You'll see there's a lot of charts that look exactly the same. Another one of those charts, ladies and gentlemen, that looks exactly the same. It's a piece of shit chart. Get out. If you're holding, see, this is how you lose sponsors. Like, if we were ever going to get sponsorship money from Algorand, it's not coming anymore. Huh? And no sponsorship money for us from Algorand, from Litecoin. Huh? Probably not happening. Okay, another one that's not going to give us any sponsorship money is Cardano. Guys, like, listen, love Charles and love the army, and it's all great, but I haven't seen one use case for Cardano in a long time. Does Cardano have a DEX? You really believe, you one of those people that really believe that Santa Claus is real. This one, I'm gonna highlight this in orange, because this one I'm not sure. We'll come back to it. Okay, Sandbox. Can we talk about Sandbox for 1 second? Probably the worst user experience in the world. Okay, let me quickly, the Sandbox. This amazing token that was launched when, okay, this is what the Sandbox, let's see if we can actually see what it looks like. This is what Sandbox looks like, okay? And therefore, they only have, let me show you the number of users. How many, okay, let me show you something very funny, okay? Sandbox has a fully diluted market cap of, I'm not making friends here, I can tell you, I'm definitely not making friends here, that's for sure. Sandbox has a fully diluted market cap of $1 billion, okay? Now, how many users would you say you need to have for $1 billion valuation? A lot. Like, how many? Give me like
1 million at least.
Okay, 1 million would be a lot. Okay, but look here. Sandbox. Oh, hold on. Let's see if we can get Sandbox. Let's see if we can get Sandbox here. Because you're going to laugh here when you see this. Okay, the Sandbox. There we go. Let's click it. Okay, you're going to laugh. Because it's got $1 billion fully diluted valuation. And it has 203 weekly active users. 203 weekly active users. In the last 30 days, 2,000 people have played this game. Okay? $1 billion fully diluted valuation. This is what you call a piece of shit coin. Okay? And another one. Okay, now again, I'm not making friends here. But we need to talk about this. Okay. Decentraland. Hi, Decentraland. Let's go to Mana here. This is the show of not making friends. There are shows where I make friends and communities love me afterwards. Thank you. Okay, it's not here. Let's see, Decentraland. Okay, you can't get it. Wait. Okay, you can't get it here. Long story short, this is not something I'd be holding. Okay, EOS. Listen, at the time there was probably a use case for an EOS type protocol. Not a great use case anymore. I looked at some other numbers here. Quant, VET, 3,500 active addresses. Let's quickly just see what the market cap of VET is today. $3 billion. $3 billion market cap. Okay, guys, honestly, if you're holding these tokens, if the chart of the token, if it's an old token, if the chart of the token doesn't look like this, you got to sell it. Okay, you got to break up. Okay, Charles is salty that Run is not holding back on his thoughts on Cardano. He will make a video about this and he will post about this and he will meme me. But I don't care because I am tired of the promises. I used to hold Cardano. Okay, I used to hold Cardano. I held it for a long time. But then I just got tired of the promises. I just, enough promises. I moved on to somewhere better and I'm getting much better returns. Now, let me show you some tokens, some old tokens, where the chart looks exactly like this. Now, just pay attention to what this chart looks like. And now, pay attention again. Same chart, Near Protocol. Look at that. Accumulation, breakout, retest, now moving on the way up. Near Protocol, coincidentally, just added to the AI portfolio from Grayscale. Chainlink, up, down, accumulation, retest. Coincidentally, also a big narrative of real-world assets. Phantom, accumulation. Just look at how all these charts look exactly the same. Look. The graph. The graph is one that I really fucking like. This one I really like. This one can go the whole way. That's what I'm saying, guys. I think today's show was not about what you need to buy, but actually what you need to sell. It's time to break up. It's time to get rid of the bad tokens in your portfolios. That's what today's show is about. I hope you got the message. I do want to remind you of a few things. The first thing that I want to remind you of is you know what? This is going to hurt me to give away. To give away this car is really going to hurt me. So we are giving away a Cybertruck. If you want it, you click here. You open an account on Bybit. You have to trade. Every time you trade, it basically is an entry into the any account on Bybit. Every time you trade, it's an entry into it's not every time you trade, it's a certain amount of trading volume. It's an entry into the competition, and then we're going to draw the winner in September. That's the first one that you need to look at. Second thing is, I saw that a lot of you have taken challenges on BitFunded. I think super important that you do this quickly because they've got this $49 challenge. Remember, this is where you trade with other people's money. So you put in $49 and you can trade with $5,000 of other people's money. Put in $99, you can trade with $10,000. You put in $229, you can trade with $25,000. All you need to do is you need to prove that you're a good trader. So you need to get one period where you have to get over 10% return, and another period where you get over 5% return. And then from that point on, you're trading with other people's money. That's basically what it is. So join me on one of these challenges. I'm in the middle of a challenge now. Let me show you actually. I wonder how you actually show the account. Let's see. I'll show you my account here. So I'm in the middle of a challenge right now. So far, I'm doing very well. Let's see if we can see it here. Let me show it to you. Hold on. Let me actually show you how this actually works. I think it's really good. So, okay, there we go. Let me just log in, and you can see how this works. I think this is the best risk return strategy in the whole world. Because if you lose $49 or $100 or whatever else. But if you win, then you can actually you play with other people's money. So you make money, but you play with other people's money. So let me quickly log in. Let me just quickly hide that in case my password is visible. I know you guys, password is something that you guys love. So you see I'm already on, let's go to my dashboard. You see I'm already up the 8%. I've got $11,000 in a $10,000 account because I bought that trade. I've got to go through 5 trading days where I make profits. Then I'm going to stage 2. I'm going to make $500 profits. And then once that's done, I'm in stage 3. Then I'm live. Then it's not a demo account. It's actually a live account. And then I'm trading with other people's money. And I keep 90% of the money. So it's really the best thing to do. What you do is you go here, you click on bitfunded.com. Here it is. You open an account. And then join us. Let's just see. It's the best test that you've got to see if you're a good trader without actually burning your own account. Just put $50 in here, you can play. And if you are good, like you say you are, then you get 90% of the money. I mean, honestly, what's going on here? Let's just see here. You see, we have an HR manager in our company. She runs the HR, and she wants to move everyone to Slack. We need to tell Theo, please can you all text Theo in the chat here and just say, Theo, we cannot move to Slack. We all love WhatsApp. Tell her that Slack is dead. Tell her Slack is dead. Yeah, just tell her Slack is very, very dead. Let's see, there's anything happening in the newsroom? Any new cool shit happening at the moment? No. All right, amazing. So we will see you guys again tomorrow. You can, Josh, you can press the button. Until then, trade well, my friends.